Hi everyone, and thank you for being here. Okay, so the first question I have is, what comes to mind when you hear the term alien invasive species? If you're a child of the 80s, like myself, maybe you're thinking on X-Files, or maybe green little creatures with black eyes, like my friend over here. Well, standing here, okay, it should. Well, the subjects of my study are also green, but they are very much from this planet. So I'm an ecologist and I work with alien invasive plants. Now the question is, what are alien invasive species? Well, we all came here, right, with some kind of like plane, car, or maybe bicycle. And with us, many times we bring guests, like my alien friend over here. But sometimes we have other species that hitch a ride with us without us even knowing. So alien invasive species can be plants, but they can also be animals or microorganisms that are spread out, so like they're moved around by us humans, but once they're in this new area, they don't need us to spread around and become problematic. Let me give you an example. For some of us that may have been traveling a little bit in California and the coastal area, have you seen eucalyptus trees? Raise your hand if you have seen it. Oh wow, that's really good. I was not expecting so many hands. Very good. So for those of you who have not seen it yet, there's your mission. There's your X-File episode. You're already chasing aliens. Pay attention. They are all over the place, I promise. So eucalyptus trees were brought here to California and other parts of the world by settlers who were influenced by European botanists who absolutely loved eucalyptus. It was brought here as a source of wood because after deforestation had become a real concern, they really needed some source of like wood for houses and different kind of things, right? But then now this species is invasive and it's problematic. So, okay, I hope we are on the same page and we all understand what alien invasive species are. But as previous presentations before, why do we care about this, right? There are so many problems in the world, why should we care about this? And so the first thing is, let's talk about money, because money is always the highest issue. So it is calculated that in the last 30 years, alien invasive species have cost us around $1.3 trillion. So this is the minimum. It's probably more. To put that into perspective, this is over 6,000 times the annual budget of NASA. So that means that with this kind of money, we could have funded NASA for over 50 years to go and look for aliens outside the planet, right? But if we focus if we focus on alien invasive plants, they also have impacts on health. For example, many have pollen that is highly allergenic, and they also have ecological impacts that you may have heard. For example, they are one of the main culprits of biodiversity loss worldwide, even to the point of sometimes leading species to extinction. So it's quite problematic. And like if we take the eucalyptus example, this species, they, for example, produce chemicals in their leaves and their roots, and this can be toxic to native species. So then you may, if you see the eucalyptus, you may see that underneath it, almost nothing is growing. So they can impact them like that. They also take a lot of water, which is quite an issue here. And they are a fire hazard. So you may have also heard about this in this area, but also in Chile. So they're very problematic. But to understand what I mean about this impact, let's say you have invited my friend over here to a party in your house, but once there, he or they, let's not gender him, they eat all your food, they drink all your beer, and they wear a perfume that is so strong that makes everyone sick. Not only that, but they also rearrange the flowers in your garden to suit the ones that they like. So you wouldn't want this friend at your place, right? So, okay, I've talked about very negative things. Let's talk about more positive. So here's where my research comes in. Luckily, there are some plant invasions that can be managed by just getting rid of the alien and letting nature recover. So there are some species that they just don't have such high impacts, or maybe they have not invaded an invader for so long, and so we can get rid of them and it's easy. But some of them may have legacies. So once we get rid of them, their legacies stay. For example, in the case of the eucalyptus, maybe the chemicals that I mentioned may wash away, but the changes in the soil may remain and become problematic for restoration, for recovering diversity, right? So my research, I try to study the impacts of these invasive species because we still don't know much about it, about many species. And based on this information, I try to understand which are the most problematic and the least problematic species, and in which context it will be better to manage them. So maybe we can remove this species, but not this other, because then it's a bigger problem afterwards. So hopefully, by finding the best way or the best species to remove to allow our ecosystems to recover and have a happily ever after story. So my final message to you is, now that you're going home, that to check your shoes, check your luggage, and be sure that you're not taking with you some alien friend. Thank you.